Hi, buddies! So, today we are at the BuddyRise studio, and today we have a special guest, Selena, a fellow autoimmune patient who was diagnosed with systemic sclerosis at a very young age. So, Selena, tell us a bit more about it, your diagnosis, how you got to that point. I'm sure loved ones and other autoimmune warriors would love to hear your story.
So, hi buddies, I'm Selena, as you said. I've been diagnosed with systemic sclerosis at 22, which is quite young because in general you're diagnosed when you're 50 for that specific disease. So it's a disease that touches multiple tissues and organs, mainly the skin, and also can also touch your lungs, your heart, your intestinal tract, so that's in general the case. To me, what I mainly feel at the moment is heavy and intense fatigue, and I think fatigue is a word that's used in a very everyday kind of.
Yeah, the difference between the fatigue of someone battling autoimmunity and someone that's tired after a heavy weekend, it's a world of difference.
Because when you just say you're tired, someone that has his own representation of being tired just thinks, okay, she's gonna take a nap and it's fine, but it's much more than that, and much more. It's sometimes that I may even say it's quite also making you not functioning well, because it's even hard. You can sleep even for like 12, 13, 14 hours, and sometimes it's even hard to recuperate. Yeah. And when you wake up, it's like did not even really sleep. So
and so were that your earliest symptoms, or how did you get to the diagnosis of systemic sclerosis?
And that's a very good question. So a few years ago I had an episode of chronic pain, which was very strange, and at the time they saw in my blood that there was one factor for that disease in general that was too high, which is called anti-nuclear factor or something. So that they saw that was too high, but they were like, okay, you don't have any other symptoms than that at the moment. We're going to have to follow you, but I mean, you're fine. And then I had a surgery, a knee surgery a year ago. And they told me at some point I had like this allergic reaction, but that was very strong on my operated leg. And my dermatologist told me, this is so strange. There's no reason why you would have such an allergic reaction. So I went back to these doctors, and basically the test that I've been tested negative all these years ago, when I was 19, were now tested positive. So there was a clear evolution.
So if you would have known what you know now a bit sooner. Yeah, but let's get to that point later on. But so your diagnosis, it was the chronic pain of your surgery and everything that hit everything back up?
Yes, absolutely. And now I would say the main symptoms are fatigue. I have also skin problems. I have intestinal problems.
And so what are the most debilitating symptoms or things you've gone through since your diagnosis? Because it was not that long ago, right?
No, it was not that long ago. So it was last April. And I don't know, when the doctor told me, I was just like, okay, whatever.
But what did the doctor tell you?
Well, they told me, we're sorry to let you know, but you have an autoimmune disease that's called systemic sclerosis, but at the moment we're not really worried, so you're fine. And then I asked, okay, but what can I do? You know, because when you have that kind of diagnostic, you want to do something about it.
Of course.
You just don't want to sit in your chair and be like, okay, I'll see you in 80 years. What can I do? And they told me, not much. You can enjoy your life. That's really important. Maybe do not touch drugs. And I was like, okay, what about alcohol? Yeah, you can drink sometimes, but maybe don't exaggerate. And regarding food, well, there's not been much proven. And sleep, yes, of course, sleep well, but as every other patient does. And I got out of there and I was like, what the actual Because I study neuroscience, and I know that there are a lot of studies out there about holistic healing and about the importance of taking care of yourself, not only sleep-wise, but also food and meditation, and all these things have already been proven, actually.
It's insane how much studies exist. And nobody knows about it. It's incredible. And once I started researching it, medical professionals have less than 25 hours in their entire program on lifestyle, sleep. The right questions are not being asked. I had the same thing when asked about my diagnosis. I was told to enjoy life, to eat as many pizzas and hamburgers that I could, because one day I would not be able to feed myself properly.
And you would be in a wheelchair.
And I would definitely be in a wheelchair. There was nothing I could do about that. So I completely get it. It's very demoralizing. I was also in a depression after that. I think everyone goes through it.
I think I went through hardcore denial.
In the beginning,
I mean, I knew there was something because it's already been like years that some signs were coming up. So I don't know if denial is the right word, and I don't think there is one word that could describe it absolutely perfectly, because otherwise that word would exist and we would use it all the time, such as the same with fatigue. But I just decided that the solution would be to not think about it, not talk about it, and just go on. And just be in this kind of thing where you're like, whatever, I'll just do my best. And so that's what I did. Went to London, did very difficult studies, had very good grades. That was the most important thing in my life. Just got on, don't complain. No, what do they say? Never complain, never explain. That was my motto. And then, recently I just had this massive crash. Never had that before, of fatigue, but this thing where it's just
you're rock bottom at that point.
Nothing works anymore. I was in the streets and I was like, okay, if I'm not sitting down, I'm gonna faint. I was in the tube, so the crowded London tube with so many people, and I was like, okay, if I'm not getting out now, I'm just gonna fall in front of everyone. And I was like, okay, something's so strange. I couldn't really understand what it was. Didn't go to courses anymore. That never happens to me in general. Really, it's really important for me. And then I was like, okay, there's something that needs to be changed. And my skin was on fire. I had huge bursts of acne, which I don't really have a acneic skin. So it was really, really strange. Decided to come back home, Brussels. I thought I was going to be there for 3 weeks, rest for a week, and then I would be fine. And then just days and weeks were going by, and actually it was not going better. So had to, as you did, basically, had to change and turn my entire life over, completely change my way of eating, completely changed my way of thinking.
It's not easy, huh?
No, it's really difficult.
Yeah. And so you started with your diet first.
I started with my diet first. I went to my psychologists, told that were okay, you need to rest. And then I realized that I didn't even know the definition of resting. What does it mean? How do you do it?
Yeah.
I was on LinkedIn when I started to rest, and I was like, okay, perfect. I'm going to write motivation letters, and I'm going to see which things I could apply to. And I was like, actually, I have no clue on how to sit down and do nothing.
For me, that's still a hard one, honestly. Yeah. Even when I get back from work, I know I have to get that me time, that downtime, but it's very hard still. Yeah. But for me, breath work helps a lot. Every time I try to overachieve, I try to overdo, I just try to sit down and do my box breath work.
I agree, that helps a lot. And what changed a lot for me as well is to take time in the morning. Because I would just wake up, be ready in 10 minutes, fully dressed. I was not even eating in the morning, not drinking anything.
Me neither.
I was just
all caffeine.
Rushing out of the room, and that was it. Just going to the library or to the lab, because I'm working in a lab, and I was just going out and doing that.
Yeah.
Now I take an hour or an hour and a half every morning. First thing I'm doing is drinking 1 liter of water, and then writing 5 minutes in my 5-minute journal in the morning, and then meditating for 20 minutes at least, then dressing up, and then eating, drinking, and then I take my phone.
And have you been feeling better since you've done that, since your crash? Because you started implementing lifestyle changes after your rock bottom, let's call it like that. Because for me, it was the same. My rock bottom was losing my balance, unable to walk a straight line, get out of bed. So I think, and I realized it's not for everyone, but a lot of people need to hit their rock bottom to actually make a change. I've had an ambassador, Melody, that's also on the app, who didn't need to hit rock bottom, but I think I have one of those characters. I really needed to feel, because even for me, it was even hard to cope and believe what I had and
completely,
how the condition and how MS was impacting my body, because in my opinion, I was a healthy woman just before my diagnosis. I had some flares right and left, but never asked what it actually was. For me, all the symptoms I've been living with since I've been a teenager, I just saw them as normal, and other people also did the same. And I think that at the beginning of the year, it was very hard for people to see what MS did to me. But now that I changed my life and that I've been great for 2 years, it's even harder for people to recognize the work and input I do not to be in that situation anymore. And so people underestimate the nature of having an autoimmune condition, because I can do this diet right, but it also means that I have to not go to a party, I have to go to bed early, wake up early for yoga or meditation. I have to completely change that lifestyle, and that's, I think, very hard for people to comprehend, especially people that knew you in your, let's say, your bad era, where you drank a lot, went to a lot of clubs. I was a completely different person before this, huh? Were you already healthy, or?
Well, the thing is, I had this because the main thing that I was feeling was fatigue. So, I mean, you're not enjoying anything when you're really, really tired. So I would go out sometimes, but I was not the person that was partying the most, because I was already feeling very tired at the time. But and I could also feel that alcohol was really difficult for me. But what you were saying, I can really relate to, because when you're diagnosed with such like a life-changing thing, which is an autoimmune disease that has no treatment available and not much research on it has been done, you do believe what they're telling you, but you don't understand what it means, right? It feels like you're taking this huge stop thing in your head, but you don't understand like the impact or the consequences that it can have. Well, at least that was my case. And so I just put that in a little box and just was like, okay, don't complain, and if you're not thinking about it, it doesn't exist in some way. And then you're just pushing, and your body sometimes says, hey, don't forget, I'm the little black box, I'm here. And you're like, no, it's fine, la la la. And then poof, at some point it just comes back.
That's what I want to work on too, is like understanding how our loved ones, our friends, our family could be there a bit more, I think.
Absolutely.
Because I don't think I'm the only one, or you or anyone watching this, but everyone has the same feeling of not wanting to be a burden. And I think that's one I carry. Asking for help is impossible for me.
So difficult.
I'm trying to work on it, but it's so limited. It's really when I ask, like, the person has to know, like, this is very unique. So I need to respond and I need to interact. But people forget that I'm good, I have MS, I'm healing, I'm fine, but still I'm not, I don't know how to say this, but I have a bit more fatigue still. Like, I'm physically doing well, but people like, I don't even know how to explain it, but they forget to like, oh, okay, Charlene is in a situation, so let's put her on the chair instead of leaving her standing up for 3 hours. Just that constant consideration, like, okay, we're different, okay, we're walking 20 kilometers a day, okay, maybe let's do a stop. And I don't know, because it's so hard for us to really ask for help, and I feel like I never do, and then I overdo it, and then I have to fight for it for like 2 days. So I don't know how we can work on that,
but I think what's also very important for loved ones to understand is that you have the disease, and even though you're healing on a daily basis, it's not gone and it's not going to leave.
Exactly, because it's still incurable.
Exactly. So if you're not working on it on a daily basis, and if you're not putting everything that you're putting in place right now on a daily basis, well, you would be in a wheelchair in your case.
Exactly, and that's hard for them to understand, because they're like, no, but you're fine now.
You're fine. And I'm like, yes, I'm fine, but I have like a routine of 3 hours that takes me 3 hours a day to be fine. You know, and you're just waking up in the morning and you're like, woo, let's go. You know, so that's completely different. And I think when you already understand that yes, sometimes you may be in a situation of healing your gut, for example, you're not healing the disease.
No, exactly. You're keeping it at bay. And that's the thing,
Exactly.
we're fighting to keep it at bay as long as we can.
And that's, I think, the fights of my life, even in my studies, because I work a lot on dementia and on Alzheimer's, etc. And since you're a studier as well, I've been writing a lot of papers on MS. And actually, what people don't understand is that science is good and science will become even better. But science is never going to rescue you.
Yeah.
You need to rescue yourself before something really like a dangerous diagnostic happens. So if you're diagnosed with Alzheimer, okay, we hope that maybe we can help you like limit the symptoms, but you're not going to grow the neurons back you lost because of the disease.
No.
So that's the important aspect here, is that it's all about prevention and it's all about like building a healthy life before you're having a diagnostic.
But even after, that's the whole thing, because when I look at the data, the research, the studies, everything is so clustered into symptom management and nothing really focuses on the why. It's incredible. With the research I'm doing, a couple decades ago, I'm talking decades, autoimmune conditions were considered rare. Today, 1 in 10 worldwide is diagnosed, and it's rising at crazy rates. Nobody is asking why. We're just accepting that now we have over 100 different conditions.
Yeah,
that's completely
crazy.
Nuts.
Yeah.
And nobody is asking why. Doctors are putting it on environment, genetics, and who knows. But when you look at it more thoroughly, then there's sedentary lifestyle, there's toxicity, there's plastic intake, there's our food, our gut health, our chronic stress. There's all of that. And when you look at the timelines, our lives are just focused on that processed food and that quick, and nobody takes care of themselves anymore. And manual work is rare. Nowadays, everyone is behind a computer. Nobody thinks further than that. And we don't have that manual labor, so people overthink too much. So there's anxiety, there's depression, people eat quick food, don't get the nutrients they need. So it's a whole vicious circle, and nobody's looking at that because it looks like woo-wah because the science is not there. But so I think at some point with BuddyRise, we will have to build that science, because we'll have to make a change, because there's gonna be people diagnosed after us, and I would love for them to have a better outcome, or at least some more positive guidance.
Yeah, and an outcome actually that's also peaceful, because I think that living in a world that's not adapted to your needs and having to because I think that's something that people don't understand, is that it's constant justification.
Yeah.
It's constant justification on what you're eating, on what you're doing, and why you're sleeping, and why are you not staying. The other day I had I had a discussion with a person. I was paying $17 my Caesar salad. I couldn't have nor the cheese, nor the sauce, and nor like the gluten. And she would not give me a salad that I could eat, so she was not believing what I was telling her. So it's very difficult to have such a diagnostic at such an early age that's invisible as well. Because people just see you in the streets, they can never, like, not even understand, but even imagine what you're going through. They can't.
No, it's crazy.
No.
Recently, I also asked in a restaurant, I asked the whole, all my intolerances, we follow the same diet, so. And I was told, like, are you deadly allergic to gluten?
Yeah.
And I said, I'm intolerant, and I do it for my autoimmune diet. And she said, people like you just annoy me. It makes my day harder, and it's not gonna kill you, so I mean, like, just eat like anyone else. And it's these reactions, and that again, I go back to the Mel Robbins let them theory, is things like that can trigger us so much, where your nervous system goes on fight or fight, where you want to react, where you want to get crazy. And I think that's the best lesson in my life that I've learned, is that I'm dealing with this condition. This is my life. I'm following the diet. I changed my lifestyle, and I just need to let them, and I need to focus on my own, because my friends will never understand. Nobody will ever understand, and that's the unfortunate thing. Until you've lived something yourself, you cannot understand. And that's just for me a basic fact. So there I go back to the let them theory, where you try to have this distance between the two things, and you can just say, like, okay, this is my battle to fight. And if you stop expecting things from the people around you, I think it makes things better.
And at the same time, it's quite difficult to be in a situation where you need to accept that you're going to be lonely in that process.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's not like you're not alone, because there's many people around you and that love you, and we love back so much. But you're still alone with your symptoms, basically.
Yeah.
So, and you're the only one that can make it's better in a way, because like science doesn't have anything to help you in a very good and positive way yet.
Yeah.
So it takes courage, it takes like discipline, it takes a lot of love around you, I think, as well, because I don't know, I think love
love scientifically
helps.
proven.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's also, when I had the experience of my knee, for example, I had so much more support because it was visible, but it was only a knee. Like it was ACL.
If you're in the hospital, people show up.
Yeah, they
but
do.
If you're bed bound, unable to move, but your face physically still looks fine, and it just looks like you have the flu.
Yeah.
I've been told that multiple times, like, take a pill, it's fine.
Yeah.
So but when people react like that, I'm like, okay, you don't understand, you never will, let them.
Yeah.
Because me putting energy into explaining what I have and how I'm battling it every day, and like people telling me, oh, take one piece of cake, take one of this, take one of that. I'm like, no.
It's not going to
Because like you said earlier, like this is a lifelong journey.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I feel like if every time I have to focus on what people are giving back to me in response to what I have, it's never going to work out. I'm going to be the most miserable person ever.
And I think it's also beautiful. I tried to see it, okay, that's maybe going to sound strange, but I tried to see it as a gift as well, because it's just an opportunity for you to reconnect to yourself, and like just consider yourself as your best ally. And I think when you're achieving that state, you're achieving a state of peace as well.
I achieved that about a year and a half ago. Like, I love being alone.
Yeah.
Like every couple of months, I take Alan, we go on holidays, we go, the two of us. And I just spend some alone time talking to no one, with the dog. And I love it. It gives me so much energy, which is strange because when I was like 16, 17, I would get my energy from parties, people, from all of that. And now I'm basically, every time I go out in a club or in a bar or even in a restaurant, I have my ear loops on to calm my nervous system and bring it down. So that's what life has become now.
Yeah, and actually I think I'm very proud of myself, and I'm very proud of us too. It's because learning to appreciate your own company at such a young age, and being in a situation where you know that you can only count on yourself to calm your nervous system down and say, okay, I'm feeling stressed, what am I going to do? We're not going to be on our phones just scrolling on Instagram. We're not going to be the persons that are just going to go like for a 40-kilometer run and just saying like, I need to get this out. We're going to be the ones meditating. We're going to be the ones taking our phones, going on our like meditation app and just following a body scan or like breath exercise. And I think when you achieve that, it's the best power you can have in life. It's a situation where you can just count on yourself to be the best version of yourself. And it's not something you're gonna want from the exterior, because the exterior can't bring that for you. And you're learning it in a very harsh way. You have to go through this whole diagnostic thing and doctors and blah blah blah, but I try to see it sometimes as a gift, or maybe not yet as a gift because it's so quite complicated, but maybe as a motor.
Even for me, it's still hard to say it was a gift, because even now that I don't even know if I can call myself into remission, because it's been 2 years symptoms and relapse free, but it's still very hard to like acknowledge that somewhere deep inside me, there's still this constant scare that it's gonna pop up again and that I'm making a fool of myself, although I know it's not true, because luckily we have all of these stories before us and these living stories of proof and science backing it up. But sometimes I still feel like an imposter, where I'm like, okay, don't talk about it too much, you'll see what happens. And so for me, that's still a hard one, more on the mental side, like accepting that I'm actually doing great and that my work has impact. But I also see it on my body. My skin has cleared. I haven't had digestive issues or anything or any symptom in 2 years. So, but for you, for example, because a while ago we talked about like you having a flare-up, right? And you started focusing on diet and some of the holistic approaches. So what are the main pillars that you focus on and that you've realized now that if you don't follow, immediately trigger your body?
Okay, yeah, that's a good question. Well, it's been only nearly 2 months, so I mean, I'm not completely like...
We all have to start somewhere.
Exactly, making conclusions on what really helps. But I think diet, of course, like my skin is much better.
So what have you been eating? Like, give me like give me like one
Yeah.
day from morning till night, because I know people love that kind of info.
Okay, so what I eat, I wake up in the morning, I drink 1 liter, like a big bottle of water. That's in general going to be like 1 liter or 1.5 liter, I don't know. And then and then I meditate. Very important. And when I go eat in the morning, I have fatty fish. And I really hope that I have leftovers from the night before, and that's going to be like vegetables. This morning, for example, I had cauliflower and fatty fish and carrots.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then people just look at you like you're an ovni, like, what
No,
are you eating?
It's super strange. Eating chicken for breakfast also,
Absolutely.
people are looking at you like,
what do you say? So that's what I ate this morning. And then for lunch, I had some meat. The thing is, now I'm in the autoimmune protocol, the very strict elimination phase, and there are absolutely no carbs involved. So that's actually, I'm only eating vegetables and proteins, but need to be from animals, so they can't just be like from plants or something, because you can't have lentils, you can't have anything.
Yeah, the hard diet.
Yeah, it's the very strict elimination phase, and then the idea is that you just reinsert bit by bit. Like you've when you say you reinsert nuts, it means that 1 week you're going to do hazelnuts, the week thereafter you're going to do walnuts, and then the week thereafter you do cashew nuts. So it's a very, very long process, but at the moment I'm in this very strict phase. So yeah, fatty fish in the morning for sure. Cauliflower, carrots was this morning, and then I had some meat, some chicken, and with some cucumber, avocado, and apple. It's a very good salad if you want to try it. It's a very good salad. Apple cider vinegar, extra virgin olive oil.
Perfect.
Salt, no pepper, because you can't have any pepper, which is crazy, but yeah. And then tonight it's I have a celebration because it's been a year with my boyfriend.
Amazing.
Yeah, but we haven't planned anything.
It's hard. Like,
it's terrible because if you go into a restaurant, there's not much you can eat.
No,
so
you have to. Honestly, I've been Mrs. Google since 2 years. Like every brunch, everything I do that's outside of my home, I have to research for hours. I have to find the right locations. I have to call the restaurants. I have to be very clear about
and then your friends are going to tell you, oh, but it's nice, you can eat something. And you're like, yeah, I've been doing my research for 2.5 hours before finding that one place that has one plate that I can eat. Yeah.
Because people also always assume like, okay, there's a piece of meat, but like they don't know that we have to call and say like, it cannot be cooked in seed oil. But so, no, it's really hard. Honestly, that was mentally one of the hardest things for me, is when I realized that I went on holidays, and usually I'm the most free-spirited person on earth. I would basically eat from anyone and anything, anywhere. So all the food trucks, everything, I've tried them. And then suddenly you have a mess. You change your lifestyle. You have to go on holidays in the midst of Africa, for example, and it's impossible.
Yeah.
You feel bad. You go to every restaurant, there's nothing. There's really, but when I'm talking nothing, there's nothing. So I basically had to bring like some vegetable milk, all my vitamins, all of my oils, my extra virgin olive oil, of course. Yeah. I had to bring all of that in my luggage. And it's very hard. And that's when I realized like, okay, my life has changed. And I think that's a hard one for me still, because I've really done a 360. I've come from the opposite of what I'm doing today. And I think sometimes I still have that fear of missing out. Not really of missing out, because I know how my body's going to react, but more like I feel left out, or I don't feel...
It's different. Like completely. Your life is completely different.
Yeah.
Your interactions with people are different.
You don't drink, so...
No.
Wow.
Yeah.
Staying away in
Tell me about it.
Staying awake. Jesus, it's hard.
No.
But yeah, your life changes. You have to research things ahead.
Everything is an organization.
Yeah, that was a hard one for me. That's the main thing for me. I'm not very organized.
Like, that's the main thing for me. Right now, I'm spending like an hour per day in a shop and 2 hours per day in my kitchen. Yeah. So that's already 3 hours.
Ingredient labels. So fantastic, that we have
you
to
can have olives, but you can't have the olives that have this type of oil. So you need to check. No, there's like a stuff that makes the thing more acid. Oh, you can't have that. So
Actually,
And in the beginning, it's terrible because you don't know anything.
No,
so
no,
you spend
yeah.
like, you don't spend an hour in the shop, you spend 3 hours.
yeah,
And you're reading everything. And every time you're putting it down,
you're
not-
disappointed.
yeah, you're getting some habits. But yeah, I didn't have the experience of traveling yet. And I think that's going to be...
It's interesting. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To say the least.
It's like, you know, in a plane, for example, I ask for gluten-free food now. You have to like ask the airline if you can have gluten-free food.
Of course.
And they got me food, and I was like, it was written all over like gluten-free and stuff, and I was like, this does not look gluten-free.
Yeah.
And after a while, honestly, you've been eating gluten-free for 2 years, you know what gluten-free stuff looks and tastes like.
Yeah.
So basically, you can't trust anyone. So at a certain point, I was like, okay, the only place I can be safe is in my own kitchen, which is bad. But we're learning every day. I think this is gonna be our conversation of today.